There's more to talk about in markets, so Brendan Conway rejoins us. Brendan, you mentioned that the markets like the jobs report. Now, what else is going on? We had Apple yesterday getting back some of the, coming back from that very steep fall. What else do we need to look for today?
So, Apple actually, I think this is a really fascinating story kind of about the market that we're in right now. Apple, as you know, has such a sway over certain stock indexes, like NASDAQ 100, it's something like 18% of it. So you know that when Apple's doing really well, it's going, all boats are going to be lifted to a certain extent. When it's not so hot. Wednesday, Apple fell by more than 6%, and there was some talk among analysts that maybe there's some doubts about products. But what you're hearing a lot more of are traders unloading so that they could avoid capital gains hits next year.
Really, do you think that's as much?
I can't prove it, but if you sort of see this kind of parabolic upward move that we had earlier this year in Apple, and then suddenly it stalls out, I think what you're looking at there is a couple things. You're looking at the fact that people who got on the bandwagon were getting worried, right? Apple has this core of true believing investors. They have great numbers behind them. They've been right for so long. But you also have these momentum traders. Those people, I think, kind of lost faith. The other thing is that you do see certain high-performing sectors, certain sectors that you wouldn't expect to be falling over the last month or two. If traders had a fiscal cliff worry, they would be dumping these, and they are Apple, they are high dividend stocks, which I think doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. But you certainly do see some of that. I heard an upswing of talk this week that people were getting rid of Apple because for tax reasons. A, because Apple had run up so much, but B, because they are worried about kind of the tax hit. They're taking a little bit of their best position and selling it in order to meet their obligations.
I guess theoretically, it has had the run up. You may have a lot of people in there with a low cost basis, and to the extent your cap gains tax is getting increased, forgive me, I think it's 15% to, I think 24% when you add in the Medicare thing that's going to hit long-term capital gains. So right there, I guess you have to assume, just to be even, a sizable increase in the share price next year to offset the extra gains you'd be paying for if you sold the next year. So maybe that's what people are thinking about.
That could be it, but you certainly see that this market really, at the risk of overstating it, like traders are still hostage to the fortunes of one company. And in good times, it's wonderful. It works out well. In bad times, I wrote a column back in March saying, just know how much Apple you have, because there's so much of it in your index funds. If you also have the stock, you have this outsized bet on one company.
Yeah.
Simple point, but a lot of reader unhappiness with that simple point. And it's
fanboy unhappiness.
The last couple of months, it's come back to bite some folks.
Okay, now let's move over the fiscal cliff. Do we have really any concern right now in the markets about that, or they're just?
It's really amazing. The market is putting its trust in D.C. The market is saying, we trust you guys to figure this out. You'll come up with some kind of solution. We're going to keep going. And so the Dow finished yesterday at a 1-month high, even though if you sort of look at what's coming out of Washington from, I think it was Politico that had this story saying basically that the White House liaison to Congress went back to Mr. Boehner, who's the House Speaker, and said, we're not budging an inch on taxes. You guys have to budge. So they're still playing this game of chicken, the two sides.
And markets are just kind of expecting,
Well, the market hears that the two sides are fairly close when it comes to the top line number, but someone still has to take a step that their base is not going to like, and neither one will do it.
Okay. Brendan Conway, thanks so much for joining us.